So I hit level 50 not too long ago, and I wanted to give you 5 tips from a level 50 perspective that'll definitely help you. Hang out for number 5. You're not going to want to miss it, so watch till the end. The very first tip I want to give you is to run your aspect dungeons. Now, if you hit tab or M for your map, I'm currently in the Dry Steppes PvP zone, been collecting Altars of Lilith, doing a little bit of the events. So the very first tip would be to actually get the dungeons for your aspects. Get your aspects early. Those will definitely help you with your progression, of course, with resource generation or whatever else you may need, depending on the class you are playing. And speaking of aspects, you can actually hit Y if you are playing on the PC. I'm not sure what it is on PlayStation 5, but under Codex of Power, you can go ahead and collect the aspects. As you can see, I've started working on mine. They're coming along pretty well. You can get them with any class, for any class, meaning you can complete the dungeon with whatever class you want, even for the class that you are not playing. So right now I have a bunch, and up top they are broken down through all defensive, offensive, resource generation, which of course is very, very good. And then of course utility and mobility. So right now, one of the most recent ones I've got was Aspect of Umbral. Restores your primary resource when you crowd control an enemy. As a barbarian, that is very good, and I'm sure as a necro, that is going to be very good as well, and most likely as a sorceress. So that would be tip number 1. And actually, if you hover over this, you can actually figure out what's not unlocked, and you can actually click on that to pin it on the map, and this will place a pin on the map so you can actually follow it there from where you are, and it'll show you exactly where to go. Tip number 2 is going to be special events. Now, special events are events like this. This is one of the side quests. There are special events with yellow circles on the map. Sometimes we have more than others. Sometimes we don't have a whole lot. They do happen as you are adventuring through and as you are riding around. They do happen once in a while, so be sure to keep an eye on that. It is a yellowish orange circle on the map with special events happening. Sometimes it's a cursed chest. Other times it's a mission to protect the caravan or to protect the soldiers or whatever that may be. So special events do happen frequently. And keep an eye out for the cursed tree, the Tree of Whispers, if you have it. I have recently completed mine, so mine disappeared. That will be compared to your weekly bounty cash from Diablo 3. Once a week you go through, it appears on the map red like this. Of course, this one is for the stronghold, but it appears red. And once you do enough, once you get enough points, you talk to the Tree of Whispers, and it gives you your weekly bounty and with a bunch of goodies in it. And speaking of goodies, I actually got a couple of helmets out of it. I got a helmet. I believe I got a pair of gloves as well. There was 2 legendary items that dropped. I have since reworked my character with all new legendaries, so I don't remember exactly where they are. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one is very important, especially for a newer beginner players. And that tip would be, don't be afraid to sell your gear. When you are in any town, you can go to your vendor and you can actually sell your gear. Now, the reason why you want to do this, the reason why you want to sell gear that you're not using, instead of breaking it down very early game, is because it gives you lots of gold. As you can see right now, I'm over 2 mil. I had way over 3. And that is primarily because you can start now buying weapons that you can use if they are upgrades for you, and if they are not an upgrade but they have good stats, like this one has 66 to strength, 32 to all stats, and a 17% critical strike damage, and also 33% damage to injured enemies. That is actually a really nice polearm. It does up the damage for me considerably, as you could see than what I'm wearing. And what you can actually do is, if you buy this, you can actually extract your legendary aspect off of your current legendary and put it on your brand new weapon. So this shop looks like it refreshed. Every hour it refreshes stock. So I actually missed that, but if I wanted to buy this two-handed mace, I could do that. And that is actually exactly what I did with the two-handed mace. And I actually did it as well with this legendary sword. I bought the legendary sword from a vendor, and then I imprinted this on the sword. As you could see, imprinted deals 36% extra damage. Of course, it's 30 to 50, so it rolled a little bit low, but that does help because it helps me to deal a lot of extra damage while I have a barrier up. And I just printed these pants. As you could see, they high rolled, and these pants are also imprinted, which gives me 0.5% increased armor for 4 seconds, and it stacks up to 50% increased armor. That rolled really, really high, and that is also imprinted, meaning that I actually put this legendary aspect on these pants while they were yellow. So this was not a full drop. These pants were yellow, something that I bought from one of the vendors because I got really nice stats. And if you are looking at stats, you find something really, really good, that is exactly why I bought them, because it's got damage reduction, it has extra damage, it has extra healing as well, and movement speed. So that would be my tip. Don't be afraid to sell of your gear and get a lot of gold, because you can always find something that is very useful and will help improve your adventuring, especially while you are still leveling. The very next tip I have to share with you is the Altar of Lilith. Now, Altar of Lilith actually gives all of your characters across the realm increased stats for every altar claimed. You could see I went ahead and claimed all of the altars in Fractured Peaks. I do have a video guide tutorial on all of these altars, so when that comes out, feel free to follow that. When that actually comes out, I will link it at the end of this video. So if you want to know how to get all of these altars, I take you through step by step. You can actually follow me the way that I did it, and that actually didn't take too long. There was a lot of running around, so the video took some time. So that would be the next tip, Altar of Lilith. And speaking of Altar of Lilith, there are 4 altars of Lilith that you should know about that actually give you Paragon Points. Now, there are 4 that are specific that give you Paragon Points. I will put up a map of where they are, and if you are using any kind of an interactive map, you can actually use these and you can track these on an interactive map. The one that I'm currently using is d4builds.gg. That helps out a lot. I believe there's one right there. That'll give you 1 Paragon Point. This one here as well, that will give you another one. There is one right here, and I believe there's one right here. I will put up a map, but if you are using an interactive map, that is what the red Altars of Lilith are. They actually give you 4. They give you a Paragon Point each, up to 4. So when you get up here, you can actually, when you hit level 50, you'll have Paragon Points already to distribute, and you can improve things like this. Where mine, I actually took this one for 30% more physical damage, and this one for 8% life plus another 4%, so that's 12 plus another 4% there. So that helps out a lot. So Altars of Lilith, you definitely don't want to miss, and it actually even gives you Renowned. If you go ahead and open up your map by hitting Tab or M, you can actually hit the W key, and W will actually open up your rewards. I know this takes a little bit of time to find, and the only time it pops up is when it's available, and you can actually track your progress everywhere through, and you could see what you still need to work on. As you could see, the last 2 I'm still working on. First one, I claimed the first 3. I do need to be in World Tier 3 to continue unlocking these, and as you can see, there are 4 more Paragon Points available. I still need to run that Cathedral Dungeon to be able to get there. I did want to record that. I ran it once. I almost killed the boss, but I wasn't recording it. I did want to record this just in case you want to see what it takes to get there and how hard it actually is. And that is actually going to be in Kyovashad right up top. So that is ready to go. We're going to do that together on camera. And tip number 4 will really help about the Paragon Points and claiming all of the Altars of Lilith that actually give you Paragon Points. Once again, I'll put up the map for that, and I'll also leave a link in the description down below. If you want to use the interactive map, it's very easy to sign up, and that way, whenever you discover an Altar of Lilith, you click on the actual interactive map, and it'll grade out for you, and that way you could see which ones you have left to go. And last but not least would be the Purveyor of Curiosities. Lagging a little bit here. So gambling would be the last tip, and what I would recommend is when you are going through, when you're doing side quests, when you are following these tips and doing the special world events as well, you do get obols that drop. Obols are very, very good for gambling, especially early level. So my last tip would be to gamble for 2 things. Number 1 would be the boots, and number 2 would be the helmet. Now, the helmet is very, very good. As you could see, right now I have damage reduction for each nearby bleeding enemy because I am spin to win. What I used to level with is the helmet that actually gave me life regeneration when there are enemies around and when I was standing still, so my life would literally fill up by itself. And that allowed me to use less potions, and it allowed me to rely less on potions, and it gave me a ton of regeneration. So while you are focusing on some of the other tips that I gave you, don't forget to come over here, gamble. You can get a lot of legendaries here, and boots are very, very important because you can get something like this. This is actually very good for a rogue. Attacks reduce evades cooldown by 0.6 seconds, 25 to dexterity, which you could see the range there is 18 to 25. So it high rolled for us. And then plus 15% movement speed for 4 seconds after killing an elite. That is really, really good. And then, of course, slow the duration reduction, right? So if you get slowed, the duration goes down. Now, one of the things, the reason why I said those boots are good, you can take something like this. You want speed on your boots. Speed is incredibly important in the game. And you can actually either, if you get this as a drop, for me, I ended up getting this as a drop, but if you don't, you can actually imprint a legendary of your choosing on something like this, which are the yellow boots. So that is a really good way to do it. And I believe I've gambled a couple of these. I believe these boots I actually gambled. And if you can tell, these boots are upgraded 4 out of 4. The evade grants plus 42% movement speed, which is awesome. 35% poison resistance, 12% movement speed, 35% cold resistance, and another 15.4% movement speed for 4 seconds after killing an elite. Plus, it has a really nice aspect. So this is huge, right? Gambling for these boots is huge. A lot of times you can get something really good, and then, of course, you can upgrade them. That is exactly what I've done. Some of these are yellow items. You can see that the aspect says imprinted. Those were yellow items that I either bought or I picked up or I gambled for. And some of them were just straight gambling items. And this is what helps a lot. So I hope these tips help. Those are my top 5 tips as a level 50. Actually, level 51 now, with the most heaviest, the most important one being the Paragon tree. Getting those Altars of Lilith that I talked about and getting your Paragon points will help a ton. There is a huge power increase with even the first couple Paragon points. So you definitely want to complete these. And you can also complete these even before you hit level 50. So if you can complete these early, this will be the thing to do. As I mentioned before, the interactive map for Diablo 4, I will put that in the description below. You can actually follow the guide and claim all of these Altars of Lilith and check them off on the interactive map. That'll help a lot to figure out what you've claimed and what you have left. I hope you enjoyed these tips. I hope they were helpful. Do me a huge favor, hit the like and the subscribe down below. Also, don't forget to leave me a nice comment. Let's start a conversation down below. And for more Bear Cozy videos, check out the top right.